welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we start this video, I'm gonna insert a clip right here. It's gonna be 2 years ago, and there should be either a Ford Fusion or a Chevrolet Malibu right there, right?
We have the 2017 Ford Fusion.
All right, now that we're back, you guys do know that this is a familiar location, but this time we do have a different vehicle. So for summer vacation, we came on a road trip back down here in North Carolina, and this is more of a long-term review than a review and what the vehicle is like after living with it for like 4 days. Again, this is a rental, but we'll just kind of cruise around. So one thing that I do like is that it does have LED daytime running lights with LED projector headlights for low and high beam, but the only thing I'm disappointed is that it's incandescent reflector fog lights and an incandescent turn signal. And this is the top of the line Premier all-wheel drive equipped with the 2-liter turbo. Only feature that this doesn't have is the ventilated seats and the rear heated seats and the adaptive cruise control and 360 camera. But everything else it pretty much has. I mean, it even has a feature where you can kick and the tailgate will open, and then you can kick again, and it will close. I can say that the tailgate feature is pretty helpful, and I've kind of noticed that the back, I might insert a photo, but the back looks a little bit like the Chevrolet Bolt. I don't know if that's just me, but it does look like the Chevrolet Bolt in the back a little bit. And in the front, I can kind of see some relations to the Chevrolet Traverse, the redesigned one. Yeah, so just taking a walk around like we already did. You got these chrome accented mirror caps. It is a little dirty because driving 491 miles, it will get some bug splashes. You got these 19-inch aluminum alloy wheels. You got your Equinox, and then here you have proximity sensing. GM doesn't do the sensor. You push once, unlocks the driver door, but back door is still locked. Press again, locks the door. If you push it twice, like really fast, that unlocks all doors. Press it again, locks. And then if you push the button in the back, that unlocks all doors. It does have a topless fuel filler system. This little circle right here, if this vehicle does come available with a diesel, a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel. That's where you would put your DEF fluid for diesel, but since this is the regular 2-liter turbo, there's nothing there. Premium fuel is recommended. It can run on regular, but it's very inefficient on regular. Coming back here, you can see your sensors. This was equipped with the tow. There you can see your sensors. This was equipped with the towing package, but with the rental cars, you're not allowed to tow. It's prohibited on the rental agreement. You don't want to do that. Opening up the vehicle, the trunk space is rather large, but under here you just have some underfloor storage. Got some cool stuff. There is a spare tire under it, but not full size. A lot of storage. We had no problem fitting our stuff in. It was the 4 of us that came down here. Again, this vehicle is equipped with everything except for the adaptive cruise control and the heated and cooled seats. There is a spider on my vehicle, but let's do it for another time. I do know that this back door is wide. It's huge. This back door is huge, and when you open it, you gotta forget not to whack yourself in the face, because all this I think is just wasted metal. But it's more of like a clamshell. Even down at the bottom, if you've been running over like dirt and stuff, you don't have to worry about getting your legs dirty because it's all covered in there. We'll take a look at the back in a little bit. But in the vehicle, you can see you have your blind spot monitoring system. It does also come available with rear cross traffic light. Before we get into the driver's seat, let's take a look at the key fob. This is your standard Chevrolet key fob, same on the Malibu. I believe it's the Chevrolet Silverado and the Traverse that have the square key fob, but it fits pretty comfortable in your hand. I wish it was a little bit heavier to give it more of a premium feel. This just feels like a toy. Here you have your lock, your unlock, your remote start, your power trunk, and your panic. In order to activate the remote start, you lock twice, and then soon after you hold the button, and you can hear that 2.4 that two-cylinder fire up. Now the headlights aren't actually blinking. That's just the refresh rate. To turn it off, to extend it, I believe you lock twice, and then you hold. And then now it's the vehicle will run for 30 minutes, but then to turn off, you just tap it. Opening the cabin. Today it does have a jet black interior. Soft touch plastics are very common, but when you step in here, you can see you have some beige, some beige suede, like some beige. What am I saying? Brown stitching in certain areas. You do have blue accent lighting. You can see your 8-inch MyLink system fires up. To start the vehicle, put the key fob down, press on the brake, and press the start button. You can hear the vehicle roar up. Electrically assisted power steering wheel, your turn signal, your headlights. The lights are very good. You have automatic headlights, your fog lights, all of that. You can see here you have, this vehicle does come with auto start stop, but unfortunately you can't turn it off. It's been very subtle over the last 2 days. Here you have your cruise control functions, and these functions control your sensor gauge cluster. Here you have your voice command, your hang up phone. The voice command needs like a lot of work. It's very horrible, but just taking a look at the gauges here, you have your main display, your information display. This is your distance. There's 1,071 miles. I'll insert a video clip. This car started with 373. If you want to calculate that. Fuel range, oil life, tire pressure, average speed, timer, and battery voltage, and your coolant temperature. Moving, you have your media, your navigation. It does have turn-by-turn navigation, but it did not come with the navigation package. You have your phone menu, your settings. You can put a speed limit warning. So like if you go over a certain speed, it will warn you, hey, speed limit warning exceeded. Here you just have your standard wiper controls. It does have a rear wiper. Rental car visor test. This is gonna make it on the Street Pipes Instagram. 3, 2, 1. 95% pass. Just cover that little area and you'll be all good. Moving on, you have your 8-inch infotainment. It does come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which we did use a lot since it doesn't have that standard navigation. Here you have your audio, you have Sirius XM satellite radio. This is the newer system. You have your phone. You have your Wi-Fi hotspot. It is through AT&T. Users, you can create different if you have more than one key fob, you can create different profiles so that if it detects another key fob, it's like, okay, this key fob wants the mirrors at this certain position and they like the seat like this. And yeah, it's very technologically advanced. Here you have your settings. It does have the teen driver mode, apps, and your vehicle rear seat reminder, collision detection system, and lighting. You can control all of that. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, your apps have already been there. OnStar services like hands-free calling, turn-by-turn navigation. You can marketplace. I think it shows you like gas prices, but we've never gotten it to work. I think that's the infotainment system right there. Here you just have some information like the time, what the temperature is, and what's the 4G LTE connection. Down here you have your hazards. And then here you just have your automatic climate control with your heated seats. This particular model doesn't have the heated seats. Moving down here, you can see you have a USB-C port, a USB port, an SD card port, and a 3.5mm headphone jack with a 10-volt power outlet. Under here with a wireless charging pad with a removable console to reveal the charger itself in the bottom. Plug that in here. Here you have your PR and DL. This does have the for the Chevrolet Traverse. There's 2 transmissions. There's the 6-speed automatic and the 9-speed. The 6-speed is on the base 1.5 liter and the 2 liter and it's available on the 1.5 liter and the 1.6 liter diesel, but the 9-speed you can get it as an option on the 1.5 liter, I think. Check that, and but it comes standard, and it's the only transmission available on the 2 liter. Here you have your all-wheel drive. Basically, when this pushing button is disconnected, it disconnects the axle, so it can't send power to the rear wheels. It's very similar to the all-wheel drive system found in the newly redesigned Buick Enclave. Here you have your tow mode, 2 cup holders, electronic parking. In here, it's nice and spacious. Down here, you have a removable tray here. Your cord for Apple CarPlay. It's decently sized. Keep in mind that the seats, the driver's seat is power, but the passenger seat is manual, and it can only go forward and back, and you can recline this. Here you have all your mirror controls, your window controls, your lock and unlock, your light controls, here power settings, and here is to open the tailgate. You can also set it to only open at 3/4, or you can set it that the power gate is off. If you turn it off, no matter how many times you push it, tailgate will open. It will just be manual. Your driver settings. Yeah, that's pretty much for the front. Let's go check under the hood. Under the hood again is a 2-liter Ecotec, a 2-liter turbo. Again, premium gas is recommended, but not required. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Equinox. The Equinox is built in 2 places. This particular car was built in Canada. Personally, I wouldn't want a car built in Mexico. Not to be like racist or anything, just they have poor quality according to I've heard rumors about them having poor quality, but I've never experienced it myself. This particular Equinox was built in Canada. I think, was it Ontario? There's a sticker on here. You see, it was built in Ontario, Canada. You Canadians built my Traverse. Thank you. Yeah, you can get it built in those 2 places. Yeah. Over here you have the glove box. Here we have just our rental agreement. Previous rental agreement. This car, we got it brand new. I mean, the floor mats were the first people to use them, and we got it pretty dirty. I mean, all up here, places that you would touch are soft touch, not soft touch, plastic, leather with a little bit of cushion. But up here's plastic. Up here is for some reason soft touch, but the dash, plastic. Up here you get some soft touch, plastic. Most of the surfaces that you would rest your hand on are soft touch. Electrically powered steering wheel. Let's go ahead and move to the back, shall we? This is at my mom's driving position. There's just plenty of space back here in the Equinox. Again, same as the front. Most of the surfaces that you would touch are soft touch. It does come with a center armrest, 2 cup holders. Down here you have a 120 volt household power outlet. Sorry, you guys can't see that. You have 2 USB ports and 2 AC vents. To fold the seat down, all you need to do is, also let's calculate these headrests. These headrests come available in 2 positions. You can have them like this, or you can have them upright like that. To fold the seat down, pull it down, and really, you don't really need to do a lot of work. All you need to do is kind of push this and it falls. And back here in the trunk space, it's pretty good. Anyway, after living it for 4 days, personally, would my family buy it? That is something that we still need to decide on. That we still need to decide on. Because, like, these seats back here, they're comfortable for a short ride, but after a while they feel like it feels like lumbar support. Direct quote from Yuri from the Straight Pipes. Yeah, but the seat after a while just feels like lumbar support, and basically everything goes numb. Anyway, that was my review of this 2019 Chevrolet Equinox. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, so shortly after filming that Equinox review, I don't have a picture of it, but the check engine light came on, and we called OnStar. We pressed the little OnStar button at the top, and they said that how it didn't fail the emissions regulator and how it could use up more gas, and that there's a whole entire problem with the engine. So and they said further damage may occur. That's the part that really freaked us out, because we don't want to get charged for the engine blowing up right in front of our faces. So, and the car only had 1,100 miles on it, which I was very skeptical about, because what type of car with 1,100 miles, what type of car after 1,100 miles, the check engine light comes on? Like, what type of crappy car is that? Like, not even, like, people said that Chevys were crappy when they're old. This one only had 1,100 miles on it. The car that I'm sitting on right now, I'm making a review of it right now. You, fans could probably tell. If you guys know what car this is, link it down in the description.